You clamped your own mouth shut and reached for another piping bag. Of course, your stomach rumbled again, even louder this time. I suppose I'm hungrier than I realized. What makes you think that? He realized over to hand you yet another unfrosted cupcake. Have one. You didn't wait a single second, chump. Oh, no frosting. Am I going to be like that picky type of person? You made sure to thank him first before digging in. I would actually be kind of concerned because isn't this for the party? Reina won't count them, probably. And if she does, she's a nerd. A fair point, bottoms up. Without further ado, you peeled the wrapper away and took a bite. The cupcake was light but decadent, sitting on your tongue with a distinctly floral flavor. It was sweet, of course, but not cloying, something that Jamie seemed to always know as he blinked expectantly at you. It tastes like a flower. That was the plan, yes. Any other notes? You shook your head slowly, concentrating on your next bite. There was a glowing review in and of itself, and Jamie smiled to himself as he turned back to his work. Suddenly there was a rustling sound, and you leaned to look through the archway into the dining area. Two silhouettes stood at the back door, rattling to a handle to no avail. Damn it, it's locked. I told you, Reina said no one's allowed in until the party starts. Dude, I have to pee so bad. You don't have a spare key? No, but if we go find her now, she might walk you in. Ugh. You glanced at Jamie, but he hadn't moved an inch. Should we do something about that? No. There wasn't a shred of hesitation in Jamie's voice. While you looked between him and the door, the silhouettes shrunk away from the curtain as the unfortunate volunteers gave up and left. Well, he's not doing it for a reason. We need to understand why. Why not? I don't want people in here. Okay. I mean, when it's like your physical necessities, I mean, it's kind of like, I feel bad for not letting people in, you know? Physiological necessities, physiological. Reina's words from earlier resurfaced, squeamish like a bunny. He didn't strike you as the timid type after talking, but now you were starting to wonder if there was something else going on. I would kind of understand that he didn't want them in there. Because, you know, like sometimes people are kind of like, they would probably just get there, steal some cupcakes and stuff like that. Maybe he started thinking about that too, you know. But at the same time, when we're talking about like physiological necessities, it's kind of like, I mean, you kind of let them, you know. Still, there were few things that felt as bad as being unable to find a bathroom on time. What would that volunteer do? Beg Reina to let them in? Drive all the way back to campus? It'll be quick, in and out, simple as that. If you open the door now, you could still get their attention. There had to be a reason Reina kept the house off limits. He'll keep the door locked. He was the one that was in there. Okay? He was the one that got responsible for being in there, and I just went there as a person that went to help. So I do not want to get into a messy situation in here. I am going to follow. Because I still think that there might be another reason for him to be doing this. Fair enough. With a light shrug, you moved to pick up another cupcake. Jamie did the same, though he was finished piping an entire flower by the time you got one layer of petals down. He was moving at a clipped pace, his eyes fixed on his work as he let the silence between you stretch on. Something was obviously bothering him, but beyond that hunch, you couldn't quite pick out the details just yet. Not while you were still decorating cupcakes, at least. And it wasn't like you could just turn and stare at him for hints. You changed the topic a little instead. Better that than to keep working in complete silence. Oh, I can. I'm actually the type of person. I can totally work in complete silence. So I think almost all the other volunteers here are student government. I'm guessing you're not, since you only said you were doing Reina's a favor. That's correct. I'm not either. Deja, the vice president, I'm her roommate, so we came together, us and... There was that rattling again from the front door this time, and it was followed by the familiar scrappy, then clank of the lock turning. The party's not starting, is it? Whipping your hands, you walk briskly into the living room, intent on investigating, only to hop aside as the door swung open much faster than expected. Excuse me. Without further ado, a student dashed right past you, disappearing down the hall. A second student leaned through the door to shout after them, still holding a spare K-ring. Reina says we get 5 minutes, so hurry. Whoa. They flinched, realizing they were standing next to you, and you put your hands up in an automatic placating gesture. Hi. Hi, wait, how'd you get in here? Did Reina give you a spare key? You changed the subject on a near hairpin turn, looking in direction where the other student had gone. Well, as long as I'm waiting for my friend, I'm gonna sit. The front door clicked shut behind them, and while you quietly reached out to relock it, they moved across the living room, only to glance into the kitchen and pause, perking up with evident glee. Yo, cupcakes, did you do all this? Yeah, because you see, they could probably go there and I'm going to steal one or another. No, I just started helping with the decorations. Yeah? Who made them then? Why do I need to call him out? He's working on it. And why do I need to mention? If they hadn't spotted Jamie yet, it meant he left the counter where the cupcakes were. You couched your answer in a little lie of omission, walking closer. Someone who owed Reina's a favor. That's why we're all here, am I right? They chuckled conspiratorially, and before you could get around them, they stepped into the kitchen. How long have you... Whoa, wait, Jamie? There was a half-decorated cupcake left on the kitchen island, as well as I think it's piping. I don't know if it's piping, if it's piping. No, I think it's piping back. Jamie was standing in the dining area, far enough away that it was clear he'll try to stay out of sight. Hello. I didn't know you were here. Oh, but this makes sense. Jeez, this is a ton of cupcakes. And why are you here? Oh, we had to use the restroom. Not we, my friend. Right on cue, footsteps come back from elsewhere in the house. Jamie stepped back towards the counter. His shoulders sloped downward, and the volunteer next to you raised their voice. Hey, in here. You're not gonna believe this. What? Why are... Oh, hi, Jamie. The first student peeked into the kitchen, then scampered in with a wide smile. Their eyes were instantly glued to Jamie, to the point that they almost pushed by you on their way in. If these two had their way, they'll be behind the kitchen island in a second, cawing over the finished cupcakes. But 2 steps in, Jamie put a hand up, his expression polite but distant. Please stay on that side of the kitchen. I'm still working on this. Yeah, see, this is why I was like, maybe he has another type of reason that he's not telling us about. Like, imagine, like, these guys are real troublemakers and he knows them. Like, I was kind of like, I'm not going to do something about it because he clearly doesn't want these dudes in here, and he probably has a motive that he's not talking about. You've been in here making cupcakes the whole time? Man, if we told people it was Jamie in the kitchen, our guest list would have exploded. As they spoke, the second student reached out, and Jamie smoothly plucked the half-decorated cupcake off the island counter before they could touch it. He picked up the piping bag with his other hand, finishing the rosette on top of instead of replying. It didn't help much. If anything, it gave the volunteers something else to talk about. I swear these things look almost too good to eat, almost. But really, you could have asked Raina for help. This is so much to handle all by yourself. It wasn't difficult, a little time-consuming. Jamie's sentences were oddly short and quiet, but the low voice of his words seemed to encourage the two to crowd a little closer. Come on, you make it look easy, that's all. I know I couldn't do this much detail. The last time I had to decorate cupcakes, I just spread the frosting with a knife, huh? Their giggle twirled and pitched into the higher octave, just as the oven timer went off. Jamie reached to turn it off, picking up an oven mitt and opening the door. Are you sure you're not in the food science program? I mean, I know if there was a pastry degree or something, you'll be in it. More like teaching it. Jamie Porter on the faculty? The school would be swimming into tuition fees. And they laughed, bumping each other's shoulders with ease, raucous humor. You shuffled to one side to keep from getting jostled when what they said replayed in your mind. Jamie Porter, what was it Raina had said? You'll know him unless you lived under a rock? You knew what the campus rumors said, of course. Somehow you've gone almost 2 full years without seeing the man yourself, but you heard things here and there about a certain transfer student whose smile charmed anyone in a single glance. His good looks, effortless grades, and princely manners made him a shoe-in in the position of campus boyfriend. People loved to talk about him, no matter what program or year they were in. And you'll be decorating cupcakes with him, completely unaware until the final clue fell into place. But seriously, what do I have to do to get a cupcake early? Yeah, I knew it. They would continue to be in here because they want to take some. Jamie shook his head, placing the last freshly baked cupcake onto an empty rack. Automatically, he picked up a cooled one, piping half a rose as he spoke. They are not finished. Well, not all of them. What about that one? They leaned forward, lifting a hand to either point at the cupcake in Jamie's hand or reach for it outright. Jamie stepped back and they pulled their hand away, sucking in a breath that turned into a slight chuckle. Yo, just kidding. I see how hard you're working on that one, huh? Got any rejects laying around? I would not be passive in here. I would not be passive. No. I'll be pretty surprised if there were. Yeah, good point. Like Jamie Porter ever messes anything up. The atmosphere in the kitchen had chilled since the volunteers had come in, but neither of them seemed to notice. Weren't they supposed to just be 5 minutes in here? Just get out. Glancing at Jamie, you noticed he was studiously avoiding eye contact with everyone in the room, you included. Oh, I have the guts. I do. So, your choices in keyframes can impact your main status, which are divided into 4 categories. Here are some examples of how they manifest. I am more the confident, charisma type of person, not so much the compassionate type of person. But I don't know how this is going, in here. I don't know. You can always check your current status by clicking on information button. Some interactions may involve hidden stats checks, and success or failure will impact the story you're playing through. Passing a charm check could let you pull off a flirty joke, but failing could cause a fumble instead. But don't worry, Keyframes isn't a pure stat-raising game, and our checks are mostly for flavor. Try not to stress. Kind of like thinking if can you like save the game when you have like this? I know you can save. Okay, you can. So there must be something you could do. This was getting ridiculous. Time to tattle on these volunteers to Desha. There was a tactful way to address this. Maybe they were overwhelmed by the jobs they were given. Okay, enough was enough. These volunteers had to go, and you'll send them on their way. Were they really that tone deaf? You let them know they were making Jamie uncomfortable. Okay. I would probably go on this one or this one. Let me think of it. Okay, enough was enough. These volunteers had to go, and you'll send them on their way. Okay. Before you even said anything, one of the volunteers caught you in the corner of their eye, and they turned to look more closely at you. What? Do I have something in my hair? No, you are... Were they staring? I bet they were jealous. Their friend jumped onto the bandwagon at once, eyeing you up and down with a condescending glint in their expression. You bristled on instinct, and the first student snorted. Nah, maybe they are hungry like me. You want a cupcake too? Yeah, maybe your blood sugar's down. This was a rare thing for you, hesitating, especially when others were trying to get under your skin. Somehow the rapid-fire pace of their snide jokes knocked you just a little off balance, and it took you longer than usual to reply. What I'd like is for you two to get out and go back to your actually volunteer work. Oh yeah? And who are you anyway? You're not on the board, that's for sure.
That's quite enough. If you're going to argue, please do it outside.
Oh man, I have the guts. I was not very passive even at school. Like I had some troubles because people would like those guys that come to you to bully you, and I would be the one bullying them, because I do not go with that shit. It was Jamie's turn to interrupt. It was wrong to say he'll be content to work in the background. No, when he looked at the three of you, an unwelcome shiver of regret crawled down your spine. At least the others felt it too. Suddenly, the other students were perfectly eager to be on their way, and they walked backward out the kitchen, gesturing and waving. Well, I wouldn't say we were arguing, but we'll let you do your thing. You were just supposed to be in here 5 minutes. Get the freak out. I'm going to spank you. Yeah, come talk to us later when that party pooper's gone. I have nothing to say to you dudes. The door shut behind them, the sound not quite masking the fact that they were laughing as they left. In the wake of their departure, Jamie let out a slow, calm breath. I suppose that was inevitable. They were more presumptuous than I thought they'll be. You willed your ruffled ego to smooth over, returning to the counter and picking up a piping bag with a muted sigh. It took some effort not to glare down at it. Quietly, Jamie slid a fresh rack of cupcakes between you, giving you an extra few seconds to compose yourself. In any case, I do appreciate you trying to help. You are welcome. He reached over, doting 3 simple leaves into the edge of your cupcake in a second gesture of thanks. Jamie stepped away for a moment, checking whether the final batch of cupcakes was still warm. You stayed to the side, finding a steady rhythm and piping some flowers in quick, careful succession. You glanced at him once or twice as you worked, noting the way he angled his face away from you. Now that he knew you knew who he was, there was awareness in his posture that hadn't been there before. He was Jamie Porter, after all, and you'll practically thrown yourself under the bus to get the other volunteers out of the house. If there was a time for you to go all starry-eyed on him, it'll be now. He didn't want others finding him in the house for that very simple reason, and thinking back, Raina's hesitation when she'll send you here made complete sense. How many are left on your side? He asked you a thorough question, and you glanced away to count the cupcakes within reach. Even if you were trying to keep your cool, the musical lilt of his voice was hard to ignore. Fewer than 10 left, not too bad. It does go surprisingly quickly, provided there are no distractions. When he looked at you, he had a small smile on, the same polite, peach crescent that he greeted you with when you first met him. It didn't look like there were any hard feelings about everything that had happened, at least on the surface. Maybe he did wait for you to finish more cupcakes on your side before he reached over to start adding any details. But he did add them. For all intents and purposes, you had your workflow back. The number of undecorated cupcakes dwindled steadily, and you even tried your hand at a few leaves and vines, once you felt up to it. Eventually, Jamie tapped his finger on the counter, breaking your focus. Okay, the last batch needs another 10 to 15 minutes to cool, so you can finish up, then go back to Raina. You sure I can stick around? It's fine, you can tell Raina I'll be finished in time. You couldn't really hold it against him. If he wanted some time to himself, it was a good time as any to get back to the others. Yeah, sure. Then I'll go let her know. Thanks for helping me help you. Of course. You left through the back door, making sure to lock it behind you. Immediately, you were hit by a wave of sound. Shatter and clatter in equal measure, as students hustled back and forth across the lawn. Geez, you knew Raina went hard on the school-sanctioned events, but you didn't think she'll go this far for a trial run. And speaking of skirting around groups of other students, you looked high and low, circling around the most crowded parts of the yard. Toward the back, the property transitioned into a riverbank, and it was there that you spotted Raina, standing under a grand willow tree with her hand to her chin. There she was, time to check in. Oh, this was prime time for a little prank. What kind of prank are you? Okay, I like to joke and sometimes be a little bit of a troublemaker myself and do some pranks too. But it's like it needs to be people that I am already acquaintance with. We have like a certain intimacy. Okay, we are friends or something. For me, Raina is someone that we just met. Do you understand? Like, I'm not going to start like doing some kind of pranks. No, I cannot. Yeah, I like that, but not with people that I just met. I don't feel comfortable about it. Yeah, she was time to check in. Raina. Irina, my dear. She looked over her shoulder, her signature smile blooming on her lips as she spun on the balls of her feet. Okay, so how did everything go? Raina regarded you with a concerned tilt of her head, her smile cooling a little. I heard there was an interruption, maybe. I mean, it was kind of unavoidable, but they did leave eventually. Anyway, your friend said he'll definitely be done on time, and that's why I'm back. We were careful not to state said friend's name out loud. Raina arched an eyebrow, and a knowing glint entered her eye as she held her hand out for you to return her spare key. And how'd you get along with that friend of mine? The rumors were right. That man was unfairly hot, and you were thankful for it. Yes, he's pretty. I would not say that. But as I told you, like, I am not very drawn to pretty men. And I usually go by other type of standards, to be honest. But in terms of personality, I would say that he has a lot of me in him. So yeah, I kind of like him because he has a lot of me in him in a certain way of like probably trying to be very perfect in everything that he does, and he doesn't like to work in groups and all of it, and kind of be cautious about things too. Whatever the rumors said, he'll be kind of cold, mean even. Reina had put it best. He was skittish, and for a good reason. You were a little relieved and a little bemused by how normal he'd been. You helped him because Reina asked you to, and you didn't really care for his company past. I would actually say, because I feel like for me he would be very normal. Okay, he is probably the efficient type, trying to get everything very well done and perfect like me. So for me it would be like he would feel very normal to me, because especially when I'm like working with in a group, like with another person, I would prefer this type of people. It's like we are just doing it in an effective way, just trying to do everything right and in an effective way. So very normal to me. For everything that I heard about him, he's kind of just a guy in an okay way. I mean, I don't really know why people make a fuss. He was just, making flowers, being him, seemed fine. I see. Well, you were gone a while, so I'll trust you're the reason he'll do just fine, thanks. Reina clapped her hands softly together, bobbing on her feet as she slipped back into administration mode. There's one more thing. Cam's getting the food started, so you can join them and help man the grills for a while. The grills. Suddenly, Reina's smile looked a lot more nefarious. You do know about... I do. I'm of the opinion they deserve as many chances to improve as it takes. Reina? And besides, I'm sending you to look after them, aren't I? You're an enabler. Always, now go before they burn something. To be honest, I'm not actually the best person to be on the grills either, and it's not because I burn stuff, it's usually because I do not burn them at the right amount. I was never very good grilling food. I don't know, I always feel like guys are better at like grilling like barbecue stuff. I'm not the best person for that, I don't know. You were off like a shoot, zipping between tables and students while trying to keep a calm face. Cameron wasn't a bad cook at all. The problem was they'll be working near an open flame. You wouldn't go so far as to say they were a pyromaniac, but well, they tended to call fires pretty, and they had the fondness for staring right into them. You could smell coals catching, skidding onto the scene. You whipped an accusatory finger up to point at a certain heel assigned grill master. Cameron, no. Cameron yelped, spinning around with her hands and a pair of tongues held towards the sky. Irina, I was just... You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you during our next apartment meeting. Brew, I haven't even started grilling yet. You're still in violation of the Magna Carta by being within 5 feet of an open flame. Ow, you don't have to invoke that, do you? The grill covers the fire, so... They deflated with a dramatic sigh, peeking at you with furtive hope. You, Deja, and Cam had a number of binding agreements between you. Thanks to various incidents over the past 2 years, the Magna Carta was one of the more serious ones. That didn't mean there wasn't room for leniency, of course. You just had to be sure it was safe leniency. Well, the good news is Reina sent me to help you. Just promise to take this seriously. Cam's eyes sparkled, and they pressed a curled fist to their chest, nodded, and turned to find you an apron. You are officially on the line with trusty Cameron as your head chef. And we're off, fire at will. Just kidding. Kebabs and burger patties hit the grates with a chorus of happy hisses, and Cameron clicked their tongues gleefully. The air quickly filled with the smell of cooking meat, and volunteers all over the yard started to perk up. Food hitting the grill, of course, meant that prep time was winding down, and the party would be starting soon. The end was within sight, or within scent. Now we're at the barbecue arena, grab that tray. Yep. With your own pair of tongues, you piled skewers and patties in rows, swapping out trays as you needed. Cameron flipped a fresh batch on right afterward, and working together you had the first of several buffet tables stocked in no time. Then came the vegetarian options, the mixed skewers, the hot dogs, the buns. Tray by tray, stack by stack, you worked in tandem, trading easy jokes and laughs under the cheerful spring sun. It's time, people. We're gonna have guests arriving soon. The squeak of a megaphone drew your eyes to where Raina stood, waving one hand overhead as she waited for everyone to turn her way. She wore a wide, brave smile, and the crowd naturally hushed as the student government waited for its president to speak. No time for pep talks. I appreciate you all for being here, and I have no doubt this is going to be a great event. Let's keep up our heads in the game, but let's also have fun, okay? Now, on 3, we all scream, "Let's go, chickadees!" 1, 2. Let's go, chickadees! And the party was on. The volunteers dispersed with loud cheers, and music started to play from speakers set up on the lawn. There was an answering cheer from outside, and the first guests came through the gate in droves. Welcome, everyone. I know I asked you to come hungry, but give our crew a little more time, and that way we'll have something ready for everyone. Dance, play, run, have fun, go on. Raina's voice blared through the megaphone once more, effortlessly steering all the new arrivals away and saving you and Cameron from an untimely, ignoble end. You glanced at each other with rueful grins, but before you could pick up the next tray, the SGB press herself popped up right next to you. "Hello, my little helpers." In a flash, she held both sets of tongues in her hands, clicking them as she nudged you both aside. "Thanks for all your hard work. I'll take over from here." "We are free?" Thanks to Irina, who reduced your sentence by keeping you all honest." She winked, waving dismissively as you and Cameron set about untying your aprons. "Deja should be around the fire pit. If you're looking for her, go play, frolic, so forth." "Frolic? It's a large backyard. Do what your heart desires. Now be gone." With a final wave of her scepter, tongs, Raina turned back to the grill. Newly dismissed, you and Cameron hustled back towards the riverbank, circling around the crowds until you reached an area strewn with lawn chairs. Deja was right at the center, lounging with her bare feet kicked up on the edge of the unlit fire pit. "Dee! Brace for impact." You barely raised your voice, but Cam wasn't exactly subtle, as they scampered over with a wicked giggle. "Cam, don't you dare!" Deja's warning fell on gleefully deaf ears, and Cameron skidded on their knees and flopped over her legs. She set about ruffling their hair for revenge, smiling dryly as you walked up. "I see you're both free at last." While you claimed the second lawn chair, Deja lowered her head, a faint frown crossing her face. "Cameron, why do you smell like smoke?" Because I was cooking." She raised a single eyebrow, and Cameron sat up to pass the buck. scrambling away to perch on your armrest with a mischievous laugh. Irina was supervising. The fire was very pretty. I'm kidding. Reina put us both on grill duty for a bit. You should have seen the folks prepping the food earlier. They were putting skewers together so fast I thought I was seeing double. Were they working outside? Pretty much. I heard someone saying they weren't allowed in the kitchen, so yeah. What were you up to, Irina? I was indoors decorating cupcakes. What? That sounds more like fun than work. Not necessarily. I'm going to guess it was an unholy amount of cupcakes. Something like that. The impulse flickered briefly into your head to reveal who you've been helping, but before you could raise the point, Cameron stretched out on the grass with a cozy sigh. Oh well, we finally get a little downtime. Deja, how about you? Your roommate grimaced gently, gesturing down at where her heels lay abandoned under her chair. After I was done delegating, Reina asked me to bring care packages to her neighbors to apologize for all the party noise. Man, when Reina plans a party, she plans to kill. Tell me about it. I had to make so many trips back and forth. Hey, check it out, 10 o'clock. You glanced casually to one side, spotting two people setting up a volleyball net on the riverbank. Nearby, a third person stacked spare cases of drinks, establishing the corners of a makeshift court. I hate to say it, but that looks like a safety issue. Yeah, they are all adults. Besides, it looks like they know what they're doing. As Deja waved a hand lazily, one of the strangers spun a volleyball in their hands, laughing at something their friends were saying. It certainly did look like they were in their element. Why haven't we ever played volleyball? We hadn't? Because I really like to play it. It's just, I used to play it during school time. I like volleyball. The thing is, I already told you that I'm very tiny. I am 5 feet. So it was kind of horrible to be with me in a team because I could never really jump high to, to protect the wall from passing by. Yeah, there was that. I liked it, but I'm just going to do probably another saving here. But yeah, there was that with me. There was a joke, right? I'm going to assume it was a joke. Deja's easygoing smile chilled, and you smothered a small chuckle. Did you forget who you're hanging with? Deja doesn't do sports. Emphatically, for multiple reasons. Cameron shrugged, absent-mindedly ripping up a handful of grass to fiddle with. Come on, volleyball's fun. What's so fun about it? All sports are the same. You run around, you sweat, you go home. I would say my favorites are I like badminton. I like volleyball. I like ping pong. Ping pong is cool too. But I would say mostly those. Then you have the sports in itself, like swimming and stuff like that. Yeah, it's way more than that. For one thing, the players are in different positions, and everyone's got their own strengths. So you have to build a team first, and then you're down to things like, okay, are you a quick tempo team or are you built around your libero? Around your what? And then if you're an aggressive team, what happens if your rivals are aggressive? Or what if they are really defensive? Then you've got to adjust on the fly, and the whole time you've got to keep the ball moving like boom and blam and shoot. Cameron, where is this coming from? How come you know so much about volleyball now? Anime? Cameron, that's anime. In real life, I'm gonna sit in the shade and I'm gonna relax. By the way, we say anime, but they do not say it like that in Japan, okay? Because your A is it's an A that sounds like an A for them, okay? So it's it's more like anime. It's not anime, but I'm saying it in the English version because we are reading in English in here. It wouldn't kill you to get your heart rate up a little, D. You laughed softly to dispel the rising tension, and Deja gave you a sharp look before her expression softened into something calmer. Cameron had Cog on as well, and they eased off the pressure, turning to you instead with a rueful shrug. Wait, have you actually played before? I haven't. I've played before. Oh, then could you play with me sometime? I mean, not today, it's just that I'm very tiny for that type of thing. Maybe fate was listening though, since in the next instant you heard rapid footfalls on soft grass. Running up to you was one of the volleyball players, the one who had the ball.
Hey, how's it going?
With a stranger in the mix, Cameron immediately clammed up. Out of the corner of your eye, you noticed them slipping down to sit awkwardly on their hands, shredded grass and all. You and Deja settled smoothly into your respective roles without missing a beat.
We're fine. Was there something you needed?
Oh, yeah. I'm Elio, he/him.
Okay, nice to meet you, dude. What do you need? He stuck a hand out and you took it for a brief shake. Irina, she, her, that's Deja.
She, her, thanks.
And this is Cameron, they, them. Cameron meekly nodded, not quite making eye contact as they mustered a small smile.
Nice to meet you all. So, hey.
Elio jabbed a thumb over his shoulder, pointing to the volleyball court with a bright grin. Okay, he wants another team, probably.
My buddies and I are gearing up for a game, and, well, 2-on-1 isn't exactly an even match.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Any chance you three would want to play? Just for fun, no points. Unless you want them.
At the glint in his eye, you had half a feeling he actually preferred to play for points no matter what he said. Yeah, probably. Here was Cameron's golden opportunity practically falling into your laps, but when you looked at them, Cam was staring down at their legs, looking a little shaky. Is he interested in him or something? Tell you what, give us a quick minute to decide.
No prob. You know where to find me.
Maybe he got interested on him and he's acting a bit shy or something, I don't know. Elio jogged back to his friends, and at your beckoning, Deja helped you nudge Cameron up and towards the big willow tree, its trailing branches giving you some privacy from the rest of the party. Cam, weren't you just saying you wanted to play? Well, never mind, I changed my mind. Hands fisted in the hem of their hoodie, Cameron kept staring straight down at their feet, all traces of earlier excitement snuffed completely out. Cam, if this is because... I don't know, is he acting shy? No, I know you don't like sports. Forget I said anything. Got carried away. I don't. It's fine. We can sit. I don't want to play. You and Deja extended silent looks. It was never easy seeing Cameron freeze up like this. They were an effervescent, sincere person, always ready to have fun. But they were also a huge wallflower whose anxiety often forced them to stay on the sides at larger events. It was unfortunately very easy to guess that they were mentally kicking themselves for backing down. This time, when you looked at Deja, you tilted your head, looking dryly between her and Cam. Well, it's a party, better Reina's backyard than an actual gym. The fact that she was even considering it was a major concession, but one you knew she'll be willing to make. She was a strong-willed person and you loved her for it, but Deja was never one to crush a friend's wishes outright. The problem was that this particular wish involved physical exertion, which Deja loathed with perfect simplicity. Cameron was already backtracking, and so as a friend to them both, you merely had to contribute a little change of perspective. How about this? What are the odds we play volleyball today? Deja paused, tilting her head with a thoughtful sound. More importantly, Cameron paused too, and they actually picked up at you, starting to look cautiously interested. 3? 3? Man, could be worse, at least it's not 2. A 33% chance is still 33 more than I'll prefer, but she shrugged gracefully, shedding her veneer of hesitation and sliding her hair back over one shoulder. Them's the rules. Them's the rules. Them's the rules. Okay, oh my god. Is it going to be in here? Though we're giving you the option to play through Keyframes events as reluctantly as you wish, sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone to enjoy what life has to offer. What are the odds? Watto. Watto is a game you, Deja, and Cam play. In the name of trying new things based on results of this mini-game, your character may participate in a follow-up event. For example, during the barbecue, your character asked Cam to play Watto to determine if the trio should play volleyball. Heads up, we rigged that moment as an example, but when it's your turn to be prompted, we won't rig the results, we promise. So there are 2 ways for Watto to start. You prompt someone to play, a character prompts you. The prompter asks what are the odds of an action that they want to see the prompted do. The prompted gives a number between 1 and 10. The higher the number, the lower the chances. The 2 count down and they say a number between 1 and the response. If they choose the same number, the prompted has to do what was asked of them. If they didn't, then nothing happens. I don't know. I'm kind of understanding, but I'm sorry. I keep saving because I'm like, I do not know. This is a demo and I kind of want to go back. Because if it was like a 2 hours one, it was cool. But I think this one is like 8 hours, so I really don't want to like skipping all of it to reach to the point where I need. So, okay, so Cam, it's you and me. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Please type a number from 1 to 3. Please enter when you're done. 3. Well. Oh, nice. Before they could help themselves, they hopped, finding some of that excitement from earlier as they let a laugh out unbidden. I'm kind of having the sensation that if you type a 2, they would say 2, and if you type it 1, they would say 1. Again, I'm kind of having like that sensation because it's the first time, so it's like probably. To the side, Deja smiled and shook her head. It was impossible to be upset if they were going to be this endearing about it. For the record, you don't have to back down when it comes to us. I know I just didn't want to push you. It's not fun if I'm the only one who wants to be there. Gonna be okay? They took a breath, then let go of their hoodie, nodding as they lifted their head. Yeah, I wanna try. I have both of you, so it's not as terrifying, I think. I can be scarier than them if you need me to. I'll let you know if I do. As you moved towards the volleyball net, one of Iliu's friends caught sight of you first, lifting an arm for a friendly wave. At that, Iliu turned to face you, wearing a wide, beaming grin.
Hey, you want to play after all.
I don't know if I want to play because if it's like the arrows kind of thing, I don't know.
Caveat, we're not going to be good, but yes.
That's great. Let's get some quick intros out of the way. Gang, these are our opponents. Opponents, meet the gang.
Okay, other way to put it. Not exactly the best introduction, but it's a start. I was thinking the same. One of the gang was standing off to one side, apparently spacing out, but the other, red-headed with freckles, stepped up with another small wave. In the same movement, they plucked the volleyball out of Ilia's hand, ignoring his little sound of protest. I'm Rory. I'm these guys' RA.
Come on. You're not just my RA.
Dude, I love you, I do, but saying your RA is your friend is like asking your parents to take you to prom.
What? No. You're still my friend.
Until your actual buddies get here, sure. And these. They leaned over, looping the third student under their arm and tugging them closer. It's Keegan. Both of us prefer he, they pronouns, and Keeks use they a little more often. Don't take it the wrong way. If they don't look at you, he's usually halfway out of whatever's going on. I'm listening. Sometimes you are, buddy, sometimes you are. Keegan rolled their eyes gently before tilting their head at you. What's up? This game, I guess. The sky, some clouds, a bird probably. Shall I go on? A better question is, what's down, aka you guys, after this game? We want to be provocative. Not much. What's up with you?
Oh,
Go
God.
provocative.
That was painful.
There's two of you now, so I'm so looking forward to this.
You know, I can tell when you're being sarcastic.
Me sarcastic? Never. Ilius swiped quickly for the ball, and Rory stuck their arms out of the way before sticking their tongue out and dropping the ball into Ilius' waiting hand.
So, simple game of keepy-uppy? Or do we want to play for points? Fair warning though, I'm not bragging, but if we play for real, I'll win.
Way to keep your teammates in mind, kiddo.
Okay, you can share in the title, but the crown's still mine.
There was that glint in his eyes again, a hint of competitive spirit hidden by that easygoing smile. Pick a god and pray. Iliu cocked his head to one side, spinning the volleyball into a tricolored blur between his hands.
So, we're doing smack talk, huh? That mean you want to play for points?
Let's do it. Dash's eyes drilled a hole in the back of your head, but you held firm, putting a hand on your hip as you faced Ilio with a confident smile. In times like these, it was important not to hesitate. Whoop, better get your head in the game, Keeks. Looks like we're playing for keeps. Fun. Ilio chuckled, the sound rumbling deep in his chest as he lowered his head. His next smile was toothier, shadowed by a mix of exuberance and ambition.
Then, why don't we play a full set? First to 25 points wins.
Okay. It's going to take time, though. You're on.
All right. The first serve's all yours.
Okay. Ilio lobbed the ball underhand, sending it into high, slow arc. You cog it with a low whoomp, moving to the back line of the court as Ilio, Rory, and Keegan ducked under the net. So what now? I have to reiterate, I really don't know what I'm doing here. It's fine, honestly. I think, like, if this was like a real situation, I would probably say, like, yeah, let's do it for points. I am not a bad loser. I am not. I told you, I'm not ambitious. So when it comes to competitive kind of things, I am not a bad loser. I am totally fine with it. Because I think of it more as for the entertainment and the laughs than actually like, oh, because I really need to win this, you know? Irina, are you gonna be a blocker or a king? What? A king? Yeah, wait, nope. That was an anime trope. An anime thing. Good to see trope. That's Shaji. That's it. We're screwed. Hey, you've still got me. Between my skills and Cameron's smarts, I think we've got this in the bag. Let's just focus on having fun. Here. Losing helps with character development, you know. I would probably kind of like go, let's just have fun. But let's put it in another way. Between my skills and Cameron's smarts, I think we've got this in the bag. Don't forget, there's just endless optimism.
Hey! You ready yet over there? Or are you guys getting cold feet?
Ilio was stooped in the back half of his side of the court, with Rory in the opposite corner. Keegan huddled up front with a much more relaxed posture, though even his eyes were trailing you, waiting quietly for you to make a move. You wish. Quickly, you cobbled together a rough strategy. Your friends would be closer to the net, Dasha to set, and Cameron to block and spike. You'll have to cover the rest on your own. Standing at the back line, you tossed the ball up once, then twice, testing its weight, then shifting your weight into a familiar stance. The ball spun a little in your grasp as you searched for the right grip.
Looks like someone knows how to play.
Tell me in a bit if I know how to play. A little, I'll be nice. Hey, no you don't. As Ilius RA, I demand you put him in the ground.
What he said. But also, Rory, what the hell?
Quick time defense. No. Oh my god, I'm going to be so bad. I'm going to save again. I'm sorry, people. I'm going to be so bad with this. As in real life, you may find yourself faced with a quick action or a choice while playing. I would prefer to be playing the volleyball in itself. So key inputs, time choices. Time choices requires you select an option from a menu before it runs out, and key inputs challenge you to enter up to 5 directional inputs in a given time limit. According to how many successful inputs you make, different degrees of success and failure can lead to different, slightly different results. Can I save it in here? I need to save it. I'm so bad with this type of things. Taking a small running start, I labeled the ball straight up, each cog a spin, rotating as if it fell, and... Okay, I'm glad that I put it the slowest, because I was like, oh my god. Your hand met the ball with a hearty smack, and it flew neatly over the net, spinning fiercely as it plunged towards the ground. For all his eagerness, Elio twisted too far as he moved to receive, and the ball smacked cleanly off his biceps, bouncing clear out of bounds.
Holy shit! Nice kill!
That's because I put it the slowest one. Yeah, that's me. So sad, right? Cameron spun for a high five, introversion completely forgotten as they let out a victorious scream. Deja even clapped for you a few times, her earlier reluctance replaced by a small, satisfied smirk. Do you still want to play? Elio laughed easily as he returned to the court, volleyball tucked safely under one arm.
Okay, I admit you got me there. Now, let me even the score.
Then the grin on his face sharpened, and without waiting another second, he tossed the ball for a serve and rushed forward. His arm came down like a warhammer. If his serve had sounded like a smack, his was a booming crack of sheer force, and the ball flashed by you in a blur, slamming into grass right in front of the boundary line.
Oh no.
There it is. Come on, Ilyu, I thought you were going to give them a fighting chance.
Just our luck. Our first volleyball game is against literal, actual Hercules.
It's, no, we've got this.
Do we, bestie? Do we?
After a few more volleys and some near misses, you found a clunky but steadily improving rhythm. Come on, is that all you guys got? You slapped a hand on your thighs, dropping into a half squat as the ball rolled out of bounds on Ilya's side again. He laughed openly, backing up into the corner with a shrug. Save your energy, the game's not over yet. This time he tossed the ball up for a floating serve, and a fraction of a second after, his hand connected, the ball slammed onto your side of the court, sending up a comical puff of dirt and grass. That could have been my face. 25 points was no walk in the park. The match wore on, and you tried your hardest to keep the gap between your teams as small as possible. Yeah, a 25-1 is going to take time. I mean, they could have done something like, you know, less training, let's call it. You know, just for a little bit of fun. It was admittedly difficult since Rory revealed that he was no amateur either. And with him and Elio trading offense and defense, they really had you scurrying across the grass. Keegan was thankfully a lot more lenient. They never strayed from their spot, saving their energy so they could jump, spike, and go idle again. Altogether, the match was fairly even, albeit thanks to different levels of effort. Finally, the game was heading for its natural conclusion. The race was neck and neck. Your team was sitting at 24 points, just a single point ahead. For all your gusto, Deja and Cameron were starting to tire, and you could feel your own energy flagging. Your legs screamed for a break, and you could feel the pulsing in your thumbs from where you kept bouncing the ball back. How about we call it after this last volley? Oh, thank goodness. I mean, if that's what you want. Cameron psyched himself up with a fist struck in the air, and Deja nodded grimly, her eyes closing as she caught her breath. Then let's make it count. Winner takes it all. Man, but we were leading. Not by much. Actually, we are behind by a point. Shh, they don't know that. I do. You ready? I'm sorry. You really. Ilya launched the first serve, and the court plunged into slow motion. He leaped, arm swinging. His hand met the ball, and it sailed directly towards the back line where you stood. Okay. Okay. You drooped, knees digging into the dirt as you braced your entire body under the receive. The ball ricocheted off your forearms, flying high overhead. Cameron looked between Deja and you, then up at the ball. They bit their lips, then reached up, ready to set, and Deja looked at you, pointing a manicured nail at the net. It's up to you. So you rushed forward, ignoring your weary body as you pushed for one final jump. The ball was set, and you pinched your arm back, slamming your palm straight into it with a satisfying, stinging smack. You spiked hard and fast, and Keegan barely got a hand out of the fleet the ball at a hopeless angle. No! Elio flung himself down, and his fingers brushed against the ball, but it wasn't enough. Both Elio and the volleyball went rolling out the bounds. You okay? That was a rough fall. Elio sat up, his head askew and his face smeared with a little dirt. The damage couldn't be worse than a scratch or two, especially if he was laughing like he was. Shit, you got me. With a hand braced on the grass, he kicked smoothly back upright, tapping the ball with one foot to roll it back within bounds. Quickly, carelessly, he tucked his shirt up by the collar, using the fabric to wipe some of the sweat and dirt off his chin. Good game, good game. We won? It's a real underdog story. We won! Laughing, you braced yourself as Cameron dragged you and Deja in for a hug, and the three of you stumbled and spun around like an ungainly lopsided vinyl. We did it. See, and what, wasn't that fun? You didn't want to play earlier. I still will never play a volleyball game again for as long as I live, but I'll admit it was pretty fun. Is this thing on? Food's ready, everyone. Can I get a hell yeah? Like seagulls on a boardwalk, every single person at the party turned. By this point, the self-service tables were a mountain range of loaded trays and foil-wrapped goodies. But all eyes were on Reina, as she stood with a megaphone in one hand and a spatula in the other. As her entire guest list stared at her in hopeful silence, she rolled her eyes, then brandished her spatula high overhead. I said, can I get a hell yeah? Going to embarrass yourself. Whoop, whoop, whoops. Whoop, whoop. Something different. Jesus. Yeah, hell yeah. Whoop, whoop. It wasn't long before the crowd broke into cheers, and just like that, the spell was broken. Alright kids, you better get going. You're not eating? Oh, trust me, I'm eating. I'm just gonna go look for my partner first. I'm gonna bounce too, gonna wait for the line to calm down a bit. Oh, okay, thanks for playing, guys. Yep, if I see your boys, I'll tell them. You're in line, yeah? Rory disappeared in one direction and Keegan drifted away in another. Ilya turned to the three of you, his smile going a little lopsided as he hazarded a question. So, are you getting in line too? I'll be skipping it if I could, so yes. Deja's SGB vice president, she was kind of in charge of setup after Reina. Oh, well, let's grab a spot. I told my friends I'll hold their places too. So that's where they'll know to find me. He didn't seem awkward at all about pulling you into the loop, even if you were still relative strangers. If anything, it looked like he was purposefully waiting for you rather than rushing for a spot in line. That was pretty nice of him. He was a good guy overall. This is my thoughts on Ilya. Again, you just met. This was kind of clingy of him. Honestly, it was cute of him to pay so much attention to you. That was nice of him, but it was basic manners. You didn't think much of it. Frankly, you played a game together, but you didn't care to hang out with him more than that. Honestly, I have like every time they ask me, I know this is all about me getting into the guys. It's just, and girls, of course. But it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's fine, you know. It's just, and I have to tell you, like, unless I really like a guy for some reason, it kind of takes a lot of time for people to get into me because I kind of feel like I really need to know them well, you know. So, but it's usually not like that. It's more like I'm the analyst type of person. How to put it? Like I'm always like evaluating people inside of me. It's an internal thing. So I am more the type to be the one to go into the guy that I want than actually being like kind of on my bubble waiting for the guy to approach me. I'm kind of more like that. So it's more like, yeah, sure, I don't know. I mean, with time, maybe I'm interested. I don't know yet, you know. All of you were headed in the same direction anyways. No point in splitting up. As long as Cameron didn't mind, you were fine to hang out with him a little while longer. Sure. Quickly you hustle over, bunching together in between the other students, waiting excitedly for their turn. Ilya turned to and fro on tiptoes, searching the crowds before he dropped back down with a shrug. That's another thing, which is like, I am more kind of like the other guys, which was like, oh, there's like a ton of people going on in there right now. So I would probably wait for people to dissipate and then I would go and grab the food. Well, if they are not here when we get up there, I'll just grab a little extra of everything. Only a little extra? Ilya jolted forwards as someone thumped a flat palm between his shoulders. Whoa! There you are. Leaning over his shoulder was a familiar stranger with dark hair, their head tilting as they leveled an easy smirk at the rest of you. When their eyes met yours, they lingered and the smirk widened a centimeter. Hey, you. Oh, great. You raised an eyebrow, head tilting the same direction as theirs. Hi. Percy, you know Irina? We've met. Hi, by the way, Percy, he, him. Deja, she, her, and this is Cameron, they, them. You've met Irina and you know her because... You could feel Deja and Cameron staring at you and you held back a sigh. I mean, it's fine. Why do I have something to... Like, I didn't told them before. because I didn't want to make a big deal about it, just that. But I can tell them what happened. I bumped into him on my way to the parking lot. That's like the bare minimum of what happened, but yeah. No, dude, stop creating something in here. Yeah, we just bump it, nothing more. What was that why you were late earlier? Kind of, I had to drop off my scooter anyway. Hey, for real though, sorry about earlier. Are you now? I wouldn't, With a gentle clap, he brought his hands together, bending forward slightly, as his smirk was replaced by a genuinely apologetic smile. You definitely left with a bad impression of me, and if my words are still worth any salt to you, I promise I'm not usually so annoying. I didn't left with an, like, I was just like, whatever, it happened, dude. Why, like, making like a storm in a freaking, water cup like that, like, well, no, I'm annoying, but not like that. Oh, so I don't even know why I'm answering like that, but I mean, it's fine. That saved you the trouble of correcting him, and he chuckled meekly. Elio, meanwhile, looked between the two of you with a growing dismay. You didn't. I did. Percy, bro. I know, what happened again? Listen, I just lay it on really thick. If I think I won't meet someone again, it's a bad habit, but that's not an excuse. I don't blame you if you're still mad, and I am sorry. From what you could tell, he was sincere, but that didn't change the fact he'll put you in an unwelcome situation, and for what? Kicks. I can vouch for him, at least a little. He's an idiot who messes around more than he has to. Okay, I deserve that. So, go easy on him, maybe? He doesn't really mean it, the incident, not the apology, I mean. Percy had to have something going for him. If Elio was friendly with him, it didn't exactly change how you felt about the guy, but you could soften it up for just the afternoon. I mean, look, we bumped into each other, okay? It happened. We kind of like say, I'm sorry, and the other person says, I'm sorry. Yeah. I was kind of like, why is he trying to create from this situation a way to, start talking with me? Yeah, that was the part that I was kind of like, not actually fine with it. But it was just that, like, let's not create something in here that it's not in there. Sure. But next time, I'll appreciate if you didn't dick around when I'm trying to get somewhere. Okay. Message received. We're watching you anyway, bub. Yeah, watch yourself. I'll behave, cross my heart. Oh my god. As you reached the front of the line, Elio started passing paper plates down to each of you, looking around one more time as he did. Jamie's not with you? We found a good out-of-the-way spot to eat, so he's holding on to it. It's just us on food duty. Wait, Jamie, as in... You let the question slip before you could think about it, and both Percy and Elio looked at you. Probably the one you're thinking about, yeah. It was just coincidence after coincidence, wasn't it? Your luck day was something else. With a small shrug, you looked down, picking up a pair of tongs and sliding a few kebabs into your plate. Oh, I only meant... Reina asked me to help him out earlier. Jamie's here. I asked him if he would be, but he didn't even know the barbecue was happening. Percy and Elio underwent two reactions in quick succession. Cautious curiosity at your explanation, and then blank and disguised shock at Cameron's comment. A tomato slice slid off Elio's half-assembled burger, and without looking, Percy held out one of his two plates to catch it. You asked like in a conversation? Wait, now I need to double check. Jamie as in Porter? Percy lowered his voice to a whisper, and Cameron hesitated before nodding. You and your roommate twisted around to look at them with whimsical expressions. Since when did you know Jamie Porter? Well, I mean, we've talked. I don't know if we're friends, but I see him around campus sometimes. That was unexpected. Cameron had told you before that prior to meeting you and Deja, they'll kept their heads in their books, driving to and from school with barely a thought for social interaction. But now it was coming out that they did know someone else on campus? Did that mean Jamie was in the same program as you? Or did Cameron have some extracurricular they hadn't told you about? Huh? Percy glanced at Elio, and Elio glanced at Percy. A look passed between them, reminding you of the way you, Deja, and Cam sometimes communicated with your expressions alone. Don't get this wrong, that's totally fine. We were just surprised, that's all. Yeah, no offense, but Jamie hasn't made another friend since we met him. We thought he didn't know how. Well, that's a little... Yeah, I can say I haven't thought that sometimes. Not the sociable type. Let's put it that way, sure. But if you two already know him, when are you together? Cameron balked a little, but Dasha pressed a drink cup and a napkin into their hand, taking the chance to give them a small encouraging smile. Sure. Yeah, if you don't mind. Why not? Sweet. Percy, is that enough food? Oh shit, hang on, let me just... You were loaded up and clear off the tables in a few more minutes, chatting idly as Percy led you on a long circuitous route around the yard. Thanks to the absolute abundance of food, people barely paid you any attention, and so you wound up all the way back to the river bank. It turned out the out-of-the-way spot was the fire pit. The long branches of the willow tree cast fluttering shadows over two chairs there, one of which was already occupied. Oh, hello, Cameron. Jamie, glad you made it. Cameron bounced forward with uncharacteristically ease, and Jamie tipped his head to one side, his eyes gaining the faintest of twinkles. He didn't quite smile, and in fact, as Percy ambled over to drop a plate into his hand, he even dared to frown. What's this? Exactly what you asked me for, whatever I'm having. Percy dropped down to balance himself on the armchair of Jamie's seat, and Elio settled on the edge of the fire pit with a soft chuckle. You and your friends arranged yourself almost in a mirror image, though Cameron sat on the grass so they could use the fire pit's stone border as a table. Deja tucked herself cross-legged into the remaining chair, and you turned sideways to sit on the arm. Oh my god, like dialogue. So, we heard you've got some friends you want to introduce to us. Where? Jamie blinked, and when he didn't give up the joke, Percy rolled his eyes and stepped his fork into a chunk of grilled chicken. Never mind, I was going to make you introduce us to Cameron and Irina. That sounds unnecessary, but hello. He nodded to Deja, and she lifted her drink in a tiny toast before taking a sip. Hi, Deja, she, her, I know you already. Sure. They left it at that, and as you tucked into your meals, Deja changed the subject, tapping her fork thoughtfully against her plate. Elio, you got to a lot of campus events, don't you? Yeah, but how do you know? It's not you got, you go to a lot of, sorry. I just remember who you are. In the SG, we called you Galileo. You're the one who draws stars all over your feedback forms. Ow. What? I fill out the rest of the forms too? You don't have to defend yourself, man. I never do them. You don't? Deja fixed Percy with a cold look, and Cameron coughed into their fist. Deja's sunned the board. Oh, I'm so very looking forward to filling out a form later. In your defense, those forms are really long. Remind me to look over your shoulder later when we're handing those out. You retreated into your plate with a little mumble, and Jamie chose them to reach over, sliding a patty and half of a bun onto Iliu's plate. Oh, this is going straight in my quadruple decker. Flipping the new additions on top of his already tittering burger, Iliu squished the whole thing together, ignoring the condiments that oozed over his fingers, and managed one massive bite. That's genuinely terrifying. I've seen him accomplish worse. Are you not that hungry? Jamie lifted a kebab using his fork to push the skewer components free. I'm usually a light eater, as Percy knows. Again, you tell me to get you what I'm getting. I get what I'm getting. Percy spoke with a hand to his mouth, shielding you all from any social mishaps as he finished chewing. Once he was done, he pointed his emptied skewer, flicking it between Jamie and Cameron. And hey, don't think you're not explaining how you know each other. The public wants to know. He's kind of a busybody, isn't he? He's probably like, he probably is like the playful type of guy, but he's kind of a busybody. It's me, I'm the public. What a coincidence, I'm also the public. My middle name is in fact the public. What's the story? I mean, I do want to know if you're okay telling. You were curious, but you weren't going to add any more pressure. You weren't that curious. If they didn't want to talk about it, that was fine. You didn't really care to find out. You didn't really care, and it was frankly weird that everyone else was getting so nosy about it. I mean, I do want to know, but I kind of get that feeling of, why is everyone being so nosy about it? You know, like, So I was curious, but I wasn't going to add any more pressure. That it was up to them. We don't have to mess about it. You sat in simple silence, waiting to see which way the conversation would go. Cameron pressed their lips together, picking at the tap of a canned drink they'll set aside. Lit's really not that much to... Oh, it's... Sorry, that was like lit. I was like, what? It's really not that much to talk about. They looked at Jamie and he shrugged lightly, contributing the barest of explanations. Bake sale, second year. Well, that narrows it down to approximately a full year of bake sales, if your paperwork is right. Have fun figuring out which one it was. All I figure out so far is you're both third-year students. Jamie and Cameron nodded, and Deja twirled her finger to indicate everyone else. And the rest of us are all second years? Yep. Astrophysics major. Oh, really? Okay. So biology, trying for a minor in math. Okay. Urban and environmental planning. And Cam and I are both poli-sci, but Cam also majoring in philosophy. Poli-sci. I thought we were going to some kind of like a law course or something. No. Philosophy. Percy, isn't that your current path? Sure is. The two of them looked pointedly at Jamie, who calmly took another bite of salad. Maybe that's how they met. I'm not telling. Why? What's your major, Jamie? He won't tell us. We literally live with him, and we still don't know. You weren't sure which half of that to focus on, the fact that these three were roommates, or the sudden emphasis on the mystery that was Jamie Porter. If I had to guess, I'll say some kind of engineering. Pre-med's track? He shook his head twice in a row. What is he? Communications, business, sports management. No, I wouldn't say sports management. It doesn't seem to type. Architecture could be. It actually could really be. Biology, no. The theater, I don't think so. Forensic science could be. Linguistics could be. I mean, it could be communications too. I am leaning towards architecture. I don't know. Nope. Okay. I tried. He says that every time. We'll get him one of these days. Can't you just look at his homework or... By now, the megaphone's whine and crackle was a familiar sound, and as the music dimmed, Reina hopped up onto her porch with a smile and a wave. Hey y'all, hope everyone's having a fun time. When her backyard erupted into cheers, Reina giggled and curled a lock of her hair behind her ear. Glad to hear it. I have an announcement to make. As you know, I am your SGB president, and thus it may surprise none of you to hear that today's party is a test run for a new yearly event. Welcome to the Student Government Scavenger Hunt. Murmurs swept through the crowd and heads turned it back and forth as people tried to guess where the game would take place. Drinks, snacks, and lawn games were scattered all over the place by now. It was impossible to tell whether anything was hidden amidst the clutter. If you're busy eating or chilling out, feel free to keep doing that, but I'm pleased to say we have a prize up for grabs, set aside from our funding for this year. You can form teams of up to 3, and the prize will be evenly split. Be the first to bring me all the items on our list, and you will win $500. The silence collapsed instantly into a storm of whoops, howls, and downright feral screeches. In the chaos, you traded glances with Deja and Cameron. It was time. You know what we must do. Win. Not if we find everything first. Elio grinned widely, looking at the tree. Elio grinned widely, looking at the three of you as he made a questioning gesture. You nodded in return, and he leaned quickly across the fire pit, stacking everyone's empty plates and cups before hopping up to find a trash can. While he scampered off, Percy stood to scratch leisurely, tugging at a lock of Jamie's hair and scuttling aside to avoid a light swat. Well, looks like we'll be bitter rivals for a little bit. It looks that way, yes. And just like that, the gauntlets was thrown. Elio had shown his competitive spirit during the volleyball game, but now that a cash prize was on the line, it was his turn to see how driven Deja could be. Strategy D? We split up, divide and conquer. Who's gonna go on? Teams, get ready! Your targets are a chickadee plushie, a school t-shirt, and a flag with the board's initial on it. Okay, your time starts now. Go, 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 go. Okay, I'm going to leave it right in here. I was trying to get this party till the end, but I cannot continue. Okay, but we can continue tomorrow. Okay, so today we stay in here, and tomorrow we continue, and I'll try to bring you the rest of the game. As I said, I'm not going to compromise telling you that we're going to play the demo until the end, okay? So for today, we stay in here and we'll see it. But tomorrow, I think we are okay to continue tomorrow, okay? But then we'll see it after that. So what was I going to say? Oh, I don't think I told you in the beginning. So this game is not completely out right now. It's still to be announced. I think it's supposed to come out this year. I don't know when. And if you wanna try it already, you can download the demo through the link that I'm going to leave below, okay? So thank you very much. I hope to see you next time. Thank you.